Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Gist with Girls in Science and Technology. Gist with Gist. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, Girls in Science and Technology Ghana, and let's learn from our amazing females in science, technology, engineering, and math, our females in the STEM fields. Let's encourage our young females to pursue careers in STEM. Share these videos with everyone out there who needs to see it. Thank you. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome once again to Gist with Girls in Science and Technology, Gist with Gist. So today we are going to tap into years and years of knowledge, years of experience. We are honored to have Mrs. Georgette Barnes with us. If you follow women in STEM, I don't think I have to say much about her. Then you know her. She is the president of Women in Mining Ghana. And you know what? Let me just not talk much. I wanted to read her profile out, but then I'm going to put a link in the description where we have to learn more about her. I don't have to just say it. So I'll put the link down there so that you all research about Mrs. Georgette Barnes and learn more for yourself. So, hello, Auntie Georgette. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a real privilege to have you on here. So I would like to start by asking if you can share your professional experience with us.
Keep him on the work that you're doing. I think that it's needed, and I like the fact that you have started this, and because we need a lot of this in the sector. So I don't know where to start from, but I started working in the industry in 1990, and so I think it's about 25 years now that I've been working in the mining industry in different roles. And so I started as an administrative assistant in a mining exploration company, and I am currently a mine service company. It's my own company, and we do servicing on mine sites, and we also do some supplies all over the West Africa region. And so that's my day job. And then I'm also currently the president for Women in Mining Ghana, and also president for the Association for Women in Mining in Africa. Wow. So basically that's currently the things that I'm working on. I was also president for the Accra Mining Network, but I'll be handing over at the end of June, okay, to Mr. Samuel Tokonu. And so yes. So basically, in summary, those are the key things that I have been involved in the industry. Yeah.
Thank you. So, and from your profile, we see that you started from administration before moving to the operational aspect. And why did you find the need to do so?
I didn't find the need to do so. I accidentally just happened to find myself in this industry, and if it's a story that I don't know whether we have enough time to start. But the interesting thing that a lot of people, because nowadays when I see people refer to me as a woman in STEM, and I'm invited to speak, and sometimes it surprises me, and I myself, I don't know how I have eventually become that face. Because I studied, for my first degree, I studied French with linguistics.
Okay.
Yes. And for postgraduate, I did communication studies.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So
yes.
how did you end up here?
Exactly. And so every time, that's the thing that I find so passionate in speaking to people about choices and about, because don't restrict yourself, just pick up opportunities. Because for me, I was working in communications. I was a client service officer, and in charge of some big bank accounts for a publicity or an advertising company. But there was something that I kept saying to myself that I really wanted to work with French. I wanted to work with French, and I kept looking for companies that would give me that opportunity to use my language skills and to be able to connect with more people. As a young person, that was what I was looking for. I never ever said to myself, I want to go into mining. No, never. And so, strangely, I kept pushing. I kept pushing and going, when I see a signboard, those times we used to write application letters. And so I would write application letters all over the place. I was following up on all sorts of companies. And for some reason, my interest went to SGS, because somebody told me that SGS had a lot of offices all over Africa. And I always kept imagining myself, this is a place I wanted to work. So I eventually went to see a lady there. She was called Mrs. Judy Graham. And I kept harassing her. And then one day she gave me a call and said, young lady, please call this number, blah, blah, blah. They are having interviews. Please go. You are not qualified, but you've been pushing. Yeah. So please go for the interview. Okay, I will go. So I did. I went for the interview. I didn't have most of the things they were looking for. And they told me straight to my face. And then I also said, well, it seems, nobody's given me the opportunity and the experience. And so I was like, oh my goodness, what have I opened my mouth and said? He said he was completely shocked that, I mean, now things are more open, and young people can express themselves and can speak their minds. But if I'm talking to you about 1994, 93, 94, it wasn't something that you just went to an interview and then you just, telling them what to do. And so anyway, I knew I had really, it was a faux pas. And so I left quite disappointed with myself. But within 24 hours, I had a call. And geology, of course, I studied geography, but I had no experience. And so they said, well, we want somebody to assist us because we want to go into West Africa. And so we need a French speaker. So that was how it started. And so I was given the role of an admin assistant. And so, and even the admin
What position were you interviewed for?
Well, I was interviewed for the position of a vice. It's an administrator, but it has to be technical.
Okay.
It had to be somebody with knowledge of exploration.
Okay.
Yes. But even with the administration, I didn't have much experience. Even that, I didn't have much experience. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. So anyway, I arrived at work, and I tried to find my way around. And there was a very nice lady in the job who had been in the office. She had worked for years with a state gold mining, and so she knew everything. And so I harassed her every morning. Every time I was given a role, I would just rush to her. But then an interesting thing happened. Um, my boss decided that all the technical people had to bring me their reports, and I had to read through them. And I had to read through them before they went to him.
Okay.
And so there I was now having to read geological reports, and work programs, exploration. And so that's where my mining studies started. Basically, that's when it started. And then I was also put on I also had the task of helping with the Minerals Commission, submission of Minerals Commission reports. And so I started bit by bit learning about the regulations part of the mining as well. So I was doing that for a while, and then we started actually traveling all over West Africa. We would go to Burkina, we would go to Mali, all over West Africa looking for concessions. And all of that meant I had to deal with technical people, and I had to make sure that whatever the technical teams wanted happened. And so that was basically my introduction into the mining industry. And then and then from there I moved on to, well, that the company I had got taken over by a very big company, a very big mining company. And so, I had a chance to be recruited into an actual mining company. And everybody was very excited. We're all very excited. We're going to be part of this company. And then one day I just decided, no, I didn't want to join them. And so I decided I had another option, to work in an exploration consulting company.
Okay.
And I just decided that I wouldn't go to the mining company. I would go to that smaller company, which I think was a very good move for me. Everybody is different, yeah. But for me, it was very, very, very good, because I realized that if I went to the mining company, I was probably going to be boxed into a small admin role, and I really wanted to learn. I really wanted to explore, and I needed a place where I'll be allowed to explore and basically grow within the company as far as I wanted to go to. And I felt that if I went to the mining company, I would probably be boxed into a role. And it wasn't a role that I felt I wanted to be in. Yes. So I left. And then I joined the exploration consultancy. And it was a good decision for me, because I just kept learning. I just kept learning and soaking it all in. And for me, if you asked me to I'm not the kind of person that if you told me that, hey, this is it, you have to make photocopies, you would find me sitting there just making photocopies. No, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised where you will even regret it. So it's just, yeah, I mean, once you gave me the chance to, if you give me the chance to enter, I just absorbed. And so this Australian company allowed me to, they allowed me to grow, they allowed me to explore, they allowed me to learn. I mean, when we ran training courses, I was helping to organize the training courses, but you find me sitting there during the courses. And I would take part. I definitely would take part. I will participate. And so through all of that, somehow it wasn't conscious. It wasn't conscious.
Yeah.
It wasn't a conscious effort. Mm-hmm. But I just started getting to know mining exploration. I didn't know, but I was just soaking it all
You're
in.
ready to learn,
Yeah.
you're willing to learn. So you took advantage of all the
Yes.
opportunities that came your way.
Yes. Yes. And no task was beneath me. I didn't, I didn't say, yeah, I'm from Legon and I've done Legon and this. Why are you asking me to go and do this or anything? Everything that was within my working hours, I just did them. I just did them, you know. And I mean, when you are young and energetic, you're able to do and achieve a lot. And so that's how come I found myself in this industry.
Wow. I can't imagine the challenges you must have faced. One, it not being what you studied or what you were directed towards when you started, and then you creating a passion out of it, you starting something on your own, learning basically on your own. But can you share just some few challenges, the ones that come to mind, and how you overcame these challenges?
For for me, when I was working, I never thought I had challenges. I didn't think there were challenges. I never ever I never ever thought there were challenges. I just, most of the time when something happened, I thought, oh, maybe it's because I don't know how to do it. Maybe also because having come from a very arts background, and for me, it was an opportunity to be there. It was an opportunity to be there. So even if anybody criticized something that I did, it was always, I always felt that it's because I wasn't trained to do what they were doing. And so I always took them as opportunities for me to ask them, how do I do this better? You know, how do I do this better? So I never had any challenges. Honestly speaking, I can't find things that I felt challenges. There were human issues that would come up, but I felt that probably everybody else was experiencing them somewhere else, and I always have to find a way to circumvent it and to make it work. There were things that occurred to me, a lot of things that occurred to me, and I used to wonder, and I used to think that maybe it's because I had come from a girls' school. That's why I was noticing them. And that was when we traveled and we went to a lot of mining events, mining meetings, mining conferences. I always realized that either I was the only one, I was the only female, there were not enough females a lot of the time. And that used to occur to me, and I didn't know why. But I used to think, maybe because I've come from a girls' school, I'm expecting to find the same. And so that is what used to be my thought line, you know. So it took me several years. And one day I asked my Australian boss that, why is it that, because we used to bring in expatriate Jews from Australia, and I said, why don't you ever bring girls? You know, one day it just occurred to me. I said, let me just ask. So I said, why girls? Is it that girls don't like studying? Because in my first few years that I worked, I never came across any. And then he said, oh, I'll find some, Georgette. And so one day I got an email that said, we're getting, 2 female geologists. And I was like, oh my goodness, wow, And so I got introduced to them, and it was just absolutely, I was so excited and so happy to see them every time, when they get out to go to the field. I started meeting some Ghanaian female geologists as well, Amanda and Yaya, Aries. I was like, oh, okay. But then still, when I go with my boss to the big meetings, I couldn't see them. And it used to always be at the back of my mind. And so in around 2012, around 2011, 2012, I started doing a bit of research. Then I began to understand that actually it was an issue in the sector, and I started reading a little more. Then out of the blue in 2012, I believe, I got an email from a group called International Women in Mining that they were offering me a position as their chair for Ghana to help grow the woman in mining group. So I did explore their objectives and the whys and the need for it, and I saw that it's a phenomenon. It's something that we needed to do, and so we started also, gathering ourselves in Ghana. I spoke to some of the my contemporaries in the industry, female in the industry, and we came together, and eventually we registered Women in Mine in Ghana as well. So for me, especially for young people, when they have challenges, you have to I didn't know. It's good.
It was a learning process, right?
Yes. So learning, there's nothing, even in your own house, you just have to take them as learning processes. There are challenges. You withdraw, you rethink, you rethink, then you come back to the drawing board. We have to try not to have a lot of baggage behind us. It's tough. Everything is tough. Everything is tough.
So, as I said, I'm going to drop a link in the description box so that you can actually read her profile. Auntie Georgette, please, what will you say is your greatest achievement?
I don't think I have achieved my dreams.
Wow.
I haven't achieved my dreams. It's still a work in progress. When I look at the things that I am doing, and after all, it's sometimes you don't have a blueprint. And so a lot of women in the industry we don't have a blueprint. And so we are charting the way as we go.
Yeah.
And my main thing is finding females who feel empowered enough, who feel strong enough. That's the greatest thing that we can do. We can do is empowering more people. And that's my daily thing, empowering young women, empowering us to be able to be strong enough to take on all the challenges in the industry. The industry needs us. Mining industry needs us. It needs our ideas, and it needs to adapt to accept us as well. But it will not happen without us pushing for it, without us showing that we can be there, without us showing up and being ourselves. Everybody is different in the way they want to achieve what they are doing. But for me, I believe you can be effective and you can achieve if you behave like yourself. You are true to yourself. Do things the way it's comfortable to you. You don't have to necessarily go in somebody's lane. You take lessons and then you do it your way. So the biggest thing is to see more people like you doing what you are doing, and learning, imparting knowledge, sharing our knowledge, and getting more females, to participate in the sector.
Thank you.
In terms of business, in terms of work, we need our numbers.
Yes.
Yes.
And one thing I've realized too is that it's quite difficult. We find women in there, but then I think they've not found their voice yet, or they don't think they can empower someone. They are there, but then you try to reach out to them, and it's like they are not ready. I don't know if I should put it that way. They are not ready, or they don't feel empowered enough to impact knowledge onto the young one. So I think maybe we can also even empower those already in the STEM field, even those already in the STEM field, to be able to encourage more young ones. So please, what advice do you have for us today? What advice do you have for me, for the young ones, for those already even in the field?
For one of the things that sometimes bothers me is when people accuse some of the people who are already in the field that they are not helpful. It's not easy. Some of our contemporaries have really struggled to be where they are, and in when we were starting, this wasn't very common. Mentoring, all this kind of thing. Well, it's very new. It's very new, and so I feel like it's not fair for people to immediately assume that because these people were there before, they should help me. This person, because the person is there, has been there already, the person has to. No, it's, what you are doing. Why is it that a lot more young women like you are not doing it? We have to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a gift. It's a gift, and it's a talent, and it's it doesn't mean that everybody should do it.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that everybody should do it. So I feel that a lot more people should understand that it's how do I say it? It is not really compulsory.
Yes.
Some people are comfortable in the work that they are doing.
Yeah.
And it's challenging. For me, even, it's very challenging being a mother with other external family issues generally. And so we should cut on we should cut a lot more slack, and people shouldn't be all the time going, this person, because even she's here and she doesn't want to help anybody. That it's not compulsory.
Yeah.
It's not everybody that has to do it.
Yeah.
We have to relax. Is every young person doing? Young people should ask yourself. You see. Yeah. So let's be supportive, and let's not force everybody to be like Ohima. Let's not force everybody to be like Georgette. The fact that somebody is not doing what Georgette is doing does not mean that person is a bad person.
Yeah.
We need to learn to celebrate everybody. Humanity is diverse, and we should understand that. We have to accept everybody for the way they are. We speak about inclusion and diversity.
Yeah. And
so we have to practice it ourselves. And so you can find people, and when people say, yes, I want this person to be my mentor, but when I call her, she doesn't respond. You're putting pressure on a lot of people.
Yes.
You're putting pressure on a lot of people. There are people that I admire. I don't necessarily call them. You can read their profile and find out how they got to where they are going, and let that be a guide to your steps. And if you feel inspired enough, you can send the person an email and say, thank you for doing this. I read this about this and this, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
But don't expect everybody to just because we feel that, this person is there, the person is now this, and so she has to mentor me, and it's putting a lot of pressure on some of our on some people, because some people are not really, it's not their fault, but it's not everybody who is like that. So, and helping people and mentoring young people can do it. I take advice from young people too. I do take advice from a lot of young people. And so I feel that you guys have been born in a generation which understands this new way of learning.
Mm-hmm.
And so do more. Primary level, senior high level, you should do more. And sometimes, people say, "But me, what do I know?" Everybody knows something.
Yeah.
Everybody knows something. It's not just because Ohima has worked is Schlumberger that she is special. And so I want to see more young people get involved, share their knowledge. Put it in your numbers. You understand this mentoring things more. It's your time, it's your era. When we were growing up, it wasn't something that was there. And so if some of the people in my age group do not necessarily take it up as wholeheartedly as you ladies would like to, please cut us some slack. But I want to see more young people involved, mentoring, sharing, awareness creation. How do I become a mining engineer? How do I become a geological engineer, a surveyor? I want to see more young people out there encouraging other young girls to do that.
Thank you so much, Auntie Georgette, for your time. I've learned a lot. My take home is that wherever you find yourself, when you find opportunities, just push, make sure that you make the best out of all the opportunities that are out there. So we are going to work on that. We are going to push. We are going to work hard. We are going to be willing to learn, like all the time, learn more, do more than what you've been asked to, if you can, right? Yes. So thank you so much, Auntie Georgette. Thank you very much. Bye.